Hello everybody, welcome to Crafty Soup. My name is Misty. It is Mystery Box Monday again already, and this just happens to do with how my Mondays fall with the other projects I work on. So here we go again. Let's dive into my mystery box, pull out 3 surprise ingredients, and cook up one great project. If you're new to my channel, welcome. All of my current subscribers will probably know about this wacky project already. I have this grab bag / box of supplies that I ordered once upon a time, and once a month I reach into this and pull out 3 surprise products here and see how I can put them together into one project. Now, I had pulled out 2 Christmassy things and then this sheep. So at first I really thought I was going to go with something Christmassy and make the 3rd item work, but I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go with a baby card and make the Christmassy items work on this baby card. And I'm going to start with this idea of watercoloring, and that came from the holly leaves on the stamp, the Christmas stamp. So I'm going to create a little hill out of that stamp since it has an arch to it, and I'm going to blur the holly leaves with this watercoloring technique so that it looks less like holly leaves and just like general greenery. And then I'm going to highlight this little sheep with a masking technique, and we're going to use this masking magic to do that, and we'll get more into that as we go. And then I will use the red letters to create part of my title for this card. So that is the plan here. As you can see, I already had some masking magic punched into a circle shape, so I'm going to go ahead and use previous pieces. That product, if you're not familiar with it, is a very lightweight, sort of plasticky, papery product that will cover up your projects and allow you to do creative things around it without overriding that particular shape. All right, what you see me doing now on screen is hacking up this stamp set, and that's because I want the letters from the stamp set to do another part of my greeting. And I did think about words that I could make out of the letters that were already there, and with an upside down M to act as a W, I had enough letters to create the word welcome. So my title will be about welcoming baby, and you'll see how I get to the rest of that title a little bit later. All right, these stamp sets definitely have a very Christmassy theme, but this one that has, there's 2 stamps that have this bannery shape to them, and I think I'm going to end up using the larger one here. And while it does have Christmas words on it, we can cover that up with other stuff, and that is what I will do later. In the meantime, I'm trying to come up with a general design for this card so that I have a basis to work with all of these pieces. And you can see there that I've spelled out the word baby with that alpha set, and because it is red, I want to pull in some colors. I know the greenery is going to be green, so trying to avoid making this card look too Christmassy with the red and the green, I did pull out more colors, and I'm going to use my markers for these techniques. From a spattering technique to this watercoloring technique, markers are great for all of this. Now you can see I'm using a little bit of a rag when I press down this masking paper, because it does have kind of a plasticky quality to it. It can smudge previous inking onto your project. So I use a towel to just carefully run around the edge of that mask so that it's pressed down enough to give me a crisp edge and won't spread the ink to my project. So the clear stamp did lift that off there when I was trying to get it arranged, but I got it back in place, no problem. And I did cut my mask off flat at the bottom, which is going to kind of flatten out my little banner just a little bit. And I just did kind of line that up so I knew where it would be and how it would go. And when we get to peeling off that mask, you'll see that part of the banner kind of looks like it's going behind what the circle that is being created by this masking. And you'll see all that a little bit more in the end. Okay, so I'm pulling out another sheet of masking paper here because I want to cover up that banner just a little bit as I work on the rest of this project, both with the spattering that's going to come up and with this next stamping process. I don't want to, even though that's black ink, you can still kind of see some things that would be stamped or spattered over it. So I'm just creating a really rough mask. It doesn't have to be perfect, especially with stamping, because when you stamp over paper, masking paper, it leaves a little tiny bit of a lip of emptiness, and so that lip of emptiness will go around the imperfect edges of the mask, and that's okay. All right, here is the stamping technique, and I have done this before, even in one of these Mystery Box Monday videos, I believe, where you ink up your stamp with markers, and the great thing about that is you can use various colors on the exact same stamp. You don't have to worry about masking off your stamp and all of that. So I like inking up my stamps with markers. That is a good technique. So I am stamping this on watercolor paper. You saw me at the beginning. I had a scratch of paper and I cut it down to be smaller than my card front so that I can add some layers behind it. And I'm adding a little spritz of water to this just to get it to start to pre-blur for me before I do the watercolor technique. So I've got a teeny tiny brush here and I'm just barely using a damp brush to blur the leaves on that holly sprig, so that they get a softer look to them without the harsh points of the holly, and also so it's not recognizable as holly for this baby card. That's the harsh edges and spines of holly doesn't say soft baby card to me, so I definitely wanted to blur those out a bit. I am going to add several layers of this stamping to kind of create this little hill that my little sheep is going to stand on. So it's not perfect, and I am adding extra holly leaves in here to kind of fill in because that arch has a very solid line to the arch. I didn't want it to look too much like rainbow arches, I guess, or overlapping messy rainbow arches in the end. So I will add some extra leaves in there to kind of give that even more of a soft look. Okay, so I'm going to get to spattering with my paintbrush. I do have a fan brush that I really like for this kind of technique. Please, please don't be like me and make a huge, huge mess. Please cover up everything on your desk because spattering techniques really go everywhere, on your hands, on the floor, on your knees, and on any supplies you have sitting around. So while I put this rag down for my spattering, it wasn't quite big enough, so there's still spatters everywhere. That's just classic me. At any rate, I am using lots of colors from my markers to make this more confetti-like. And that is how I am going to soften up that green and red color palette that I started with and turn it into a baby color palette. So these spatters are going to act like my confetti to highlight that circle that I'm creating for my little sheep and also be more celebratory and less Christmassy. So here is what the spatters look like, and we will do a quick peel and reveal. I'm trying not to smudge things that are still wet, so I will pull it up to the camera a little bit closer so that you can see a bit better. Here is that peel and reveal, and that is where you can see that little banner kind of tucks behind this circle that I have created with that masking, and I like that tiny little detail that is on there. Now I am going to use that circle to highlight my little sheep, but that is still wet, so I am going to let it dry a little bit. I'm also going to de-stick my little sheep so that I know I've got it where I want it to be while I work on the rest of the stuff. And because I have more stamping to do, I don't want that three-dimensional sheep to be on there yet, as that will interfere with my stamping. All right, off screen, I did pull a couple of other supplies from my stash, another alphabet set, and a piece of scratch paper with a rainbow stripe on it, and that's going to be another layer to help pull the color palette together. Now I did start with my stickers by putting sweet across to cover up the Christmas greeting, but that did not cover it up enough. I didn't have enough letters to do sweet, sweet baby, which was what I wanted to do. So instead I changed up my letters to spell out beautiful. And then with my stamps up there, it's gonna say welcome beautiful baby. And I'm fine using the word beautiful for any gender, but you could also change it up to handsome if that is more your style. So because I had to reuse various letters from that stamp set to fully spell out that word, I will do this stamping in a couple of passes, and then it does say welcome, and I am ready to put on the rest of my bits and pieces here now that it's all stamped and dry and all my layers are ready to go. I am going to be sure to use plenty of glue because I find that several of those sticker book and alphabet stickers in general just have not been sticking for me lately, and I am gluing everything down because I'm getting tired of everything falling off. At any rate, I do get that all glued down. I've got it down to my extra piece of background paper there, and I like to outline things these days to give them sharper edges, and that is what I did here. And look at this sweet little baby card that I got out of a Christmas stamp set. Okay, I tell you, I was a little scared about these products when I pulled them out, but it worked out for something fun, and I did go ahead and make some extra Christmas cards. So I have started my 2023 Christmas cards already this year, and I do make all my own Christmas cards every year. So it's nice when I can have some cards already started before I get to the Christmas season. And I did add a few iridescent stars on there from, I believe that's a Pretty Pink Posh pack of little star. I want to call them sequins, but they're not exactly sequins. And the iridescent shine matches with the green and red color theme on that. All right, that is the project for this time around. So I will leave you with a few close-up pictures as we exit here. I hope you enjoyed. This is just a fun craft project that helps you think creatively, get those juices flowing, try something new, and just have fun. Art and crafts should be fun. All right, I will be back later in the week, probably on Friday, with another video for you. So until then, have an artful day.